little bit different feeling around the basketball team this year, and this one should be an entertaining early season matchup between National and United.
Absolutely. Hoop Jam 2015 rolling on from Hamilton tonight. Of course, you can watch a live video of this game on 973ESPN.com, also on acglorydays.com. Dave O'Sullivan, of course, running AC Glory Days. He is on the scene somewhere else tonight. He'll have photos from the EHT Oakcrest game up on his site later on tonight. But yes, we are at Hamilton for St. Joe against Middle Township. Two teams which I expect to be in the mix for the Cape Atlantic League tournament later this season. You have a St. Joe team out of the United Conference. Should really be battling Wildwood Catholic for the top spot there. Wildcats just losing to the Crusaders the other night. And then Middle Township on the other side, a perennial powerhouse. A little bit of a down year last season, Mike, sub 500, but back and loaded, ready to roll this season. And Trey Greer leads the way for them at the point guard spot.
Yeah, and they obviously, not a lot of people talking about them at 5-1. They look like they are destined to maybe be one of those playoff teams, something that they didn't get a chance to do last year. But here comes St. Joe's, and obviously this is a team that returns a lot of players back from last year, including B.J. Mitchell, who might be one of the better scorers in the Cape Atlantic League.
You don't hear a lot about him because he plays at St. Joe, obviously, and St. Joe, not really a perennial powerhouse, at least on the hoops court. Now, if we're talking football, it's certainly a different story. But yes, B.J. Mitchell, as athletic as they come, state track and field champion as well. A guy who can play the 3, can play the 4, can step outside and shoot the 3 a little bit. So as he goes, the Wildcats would go. Valvedino, point guard, senior, very steady. Also, Ricardo Kirandongo gives him a little bit of size, I should say. Also a little bit of touch from the outside. And then you look at Middle Township here. You have the Greer brothers, Trey Greer, Corey Greer. Trey older, Corey just coming in as a freshman, but both of them with a lot of talent. Tim Toney can also put the ball in the basket. And then a coach's son, Mike Farraco, of course, son of head coach Tom Farraco for the Middle Panthers, also an experienced varsity player, and he can score the basketball as well.
We obviously have not been out here in Hamilton before. This is my first trip to the St. Joe's Gym. Very unique home court advantage here, and you wonder how that will play into this game tonight for St. Joe, who's 3-2 in the United Conference and 5-1 for Middle. They are at top of the National Conference right now. St. Augustine, Bridgeton, they're the top 3 teams there. Wildwood Catholic, Cedar Creek, and St. Joe's, the top 3 in the United Conference, and obviously the top 2 in each division get that automatic bid to move to the playoffs, and then those couple wild card teams, and both of these teams hope to be in those playoffs in February. Middle Township in black with orange trim. St. Joe in the home whites with the red trim. They will move left to right on your radio dial. Middle will go right to left, and we are about ready to roll here on 97.3 ESPN and 97.3 ESPN.com. George McLean throws up the tip, and the Wildcats have it, and they will move left to right with Val Vedino running the point. Into the right side, putting the ball on the floor is Heron. Heron on the right wing, putting it on the floor, going right of the lane, kicks it back out. 3-ball on the way. Kirandongo is long, and the rebound comes down to Greer. Up the right sideline, Middle Township into the corner. Top of the key now. Fala gets it off on the right side to Farraco. Back up top to Greer. Trey Greer now left, deep left corner, back up top. Greer spins to the basket and off the front of the rim, and Trey Greer gives Middle a 2-0 lead.
Both teams coming out with man-to-man defense, good pressure at both ends, but that's what Trey Greer can do right there. Even when it looks like the defense has him locked up, able to spin and score inside.
Yeah, Vedino on the perimeter here, along with Kirandongo at the top. Here comes Heron putting it down low for Vedina, and the shot is blocked, but a foul. A little body on there is Farraco and Vedina, a couple of scrappers, really going to be going at each other all night long.
Jordan Heron, great look inside to Val Vedino. Vedino, the smallest guy on the court, but he went up strong, able to draw the foul in there. He'll go to the line for 2.
Vedino here. If you go to our website, 973ESPN.com, and search his name, you'll see his circus-like shot that he made last year at the Shoot Down Cancer Classic, which Mike Frankel wasn't all that impressed with.
That's not the case. I was very impressed with it. I was merely stating that it came after the buzzer, but hey.
That it did, but don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Exactly. I learned that a long time ago.
Second one is good. He missed the first. 2-1. Panthers lead the Wildcats. They have the basketball moving right to left here on the Glory Days Magazine Game of the Week. Here on the left-hand side, Holman puts the ball on the floor, gets it off to the right wing for Greer. Greer goes baseline. Now he pulls it back out. Greer will bounce pass to Tim Toney. Tony with the left hand at the elbow, spins, gets it way out to Fala. Fala, shake and bake, little right hand pull up is no good, long, and the rebound comes down, and Mitchell has it. Here comes Vedino. Vedino up the right side. Kieran Dongo, bounce pass down low, little turnaround jump shot is in and good, and Holman has the first field goal tonight for the Wildcats.
Drew Holman, very improved from last season, obviously seeing a ton of minutes this year, and he's a guy the Wildcats will need to score in there to be successful.
All the way, taking it to the rim is Greer, and he has an easy layup and 4 points. Trey Greer, 4-3, middle. Right side, Mitchell for three, long three, not Mitchell, and the rebound comes down. That, of course, was Heron, and the rebound taken by Middle. 4-3, they lead it under 6 minutes to play in the first. Farraco gets it on the wing, back up top for Tony. Tony to Greer on the right side. Greer bounce pass at the elbow for Fala. Fala, a little hesitation with the left-hand layup, and Danny Fala has two, and they lead at 6-3.
One thing we know about Middle Township, they're going to run their sets, they're going to take their time. They've been doing this a long time under the same head coach. So they're going to run their stuff, and they're going to look for the open basket.
Now, we'll talk about the head coach, the difference in ages here. The veteran Tom Farraco, the rookie Paul Rodeo Jr. Now, Paul Rodeo Sr. is right to our right here. Three ball in the corner for St. Joe, and it goes down. Richard Kirindongo ties it up at three.
Kirindongo, good size on him, but also a nice touch from the outside. So sort of that double threat can body up people down low. Also stroking from the outside, as we saw there.
Farraco thought about a long three up top for Tony on the right wing side for Greer. Back to Farraco and Tony now as they play catch at the top of the key. Greer staring down Kirindongo. They get it on the right side. Follow for three. That is way off, and the rebound comes down to Heron. Heron for Vedino on the left wing. Vedino bounce pass down low. Holman up and under move, and it gets stripped away from the backside by Farraco, but it's poked out to Vedino. Vedino kicks it out for Kirindongo. Kirindongo putting it on the floor, getting pressured big time there, and Fala putting some really good defense. Now they get it to Mitchell, and there is a timeout called by St. Joe's. Paul Rodeo Jr. calls the timeout with 4:29 left to play here in the first quarter. 6-6 the score.
A little bit of a roster tweak here, Mike, and our apologies as we're trying to get these rosters ahead of time, not always able to do it. But Corey Greer is, of course, starting in the middle. He wears number 32, and you've heard his name quite a bit so far. We talked about him, but now we'll be able to properly identify him moving forward here. Always an adventure at these high school games, Mike.
Well, obviously, at this time of the year, too, and Corey Greer is obviously one of the players that Middle Township is depending a lot on, a freshman here. And, he's a guy that has been added to this roster, getting a chance to really play a lot as a freshman, and really they're letting him start right off the bat here. You don't see that a whole heck of a lot. Even when you're an excelling freshman, sometimes they like to ease you in, and Middle's letting him go right out there.
Something about that Greer name gets right into the starting lineup.
Vedino off an inbounds, hits for three, and it is a 9-6 St. Joe lead.
I'm going to say that one does count for Vedino.
They take it, that nice play off the timeout. Vedino hit for three, giving him four. All the way to the hoop, Greer, and he is fouled. And it looks like they're going to get Jordan Heron on the call. His first, and of course, Middle Township coming off a nice win in Ocean City on our air the other night. They really ran away from Ocean City in that game, which is a scrappy team, Ocean City.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game, too. Cape May County rivalry game. Obviously, Middle Township gets the better of it a lot of years, but always a fun game when those two teams get together. As you said, the Panthers flying high after that victory in OC.
This is Trey Greer with the basketball. Stared down here by Mitchell. Now in the corner for Corey Greer. Greer puts the ball on the floor at the top of the key. Crossing over at the elbow. Kicks it out to Tony. Back up top for Trey Greer. Now in the corner for Karen. And now Farraco. Farraco gets it off to Greer. Greer for three. It's long, and the rebound is fought for. Up and one. And Holman loses the handle. And putting up a nice little right-hand shot is Karen, but it can't fall. And here comes St. Joe's up the left sideline. Kirindongo fires a pass into the corner for Vedino, who now gets to a spinning Heron, but he gets a little too out of control, and it's tipped up to Tony. Tony 1-on-3, but he's taking it all the way to the basket, and an offensive foul. He got a little out of control.
He did. Kieran Dongo able to get back on defense there, slide over just in time and draws the charge. But you're seeing a little bit about what this game could become, a little bit of a track meet here. As we said, both teams are going to run their stuff, but both teams also like to run, and given the opportunity, both teams will run.
9-6, St. Joe leads, not 3:16 to play here in the first. A little pressure now, and it results in a steal. Middle Township with the full court press. They get the steal, spinning baseline into the corner. Farraco for three, and it is long, and it comes down. Greer saved it, but he threw it into Bedino. Bedino off the seat of his pants, throws it to Mitchell, and Mitchell lays it in.
Mitchell's so athletic, basically getting up the court in about 4 or 5 dribbles there, and he's one of the best finishers in traffic you'll find in the Cape Atlantic League.
Kick out. Middle slowing it down now as Farraco took it to the paint. Now they get it to Trey Greer. 2:43 left to play. You can watch the game on our website, 973ESPN.com. Looking for Tony, back to Greer. Greer, the top of the key. Throws it over to Tony. Tony with the left hand at the right elbow. Bounce pass to Corey Greer. 2:26 to play. Corey Greer on the deep left side. He puts it left of the lane, all the way to the basket. A little up and under move, and it's short. It goes knocked out of bounds by Mitchell. It'll stay with Middle.
Corey Greer, only a freshman, but we heard so much about him coming in. Of course, that Greer name carries a lot of weight in Middle Township, but I'm getting my first chance to look at him tonight. Good size on him. He should only be growing, only be getting bigger, more athletic, and already playing a factor in this game.
Yeah, now Farraco and Bedina take a seat for both Middle and St. Joe's. They get a couple reserves in the game. Greer working on Kieran Dongo. Crossing him over. Bounces back out. Corey Greer, a 6-foot freshman. Bounce pass to Trey Greer on the right wing. Gray's a 6'2". Greer is a 6'2" senior. Karen throws it. Pass. It gets batted up, and it's run down. Back to Karen. Out for three. Tony. Good as Tony walks right into a three.
Broken play there, and Tim Tony with the lucky recipient there, wide open, and knocks it down outside the arc.
And Kieran Dongo back the other way. A little wild and out of control, and it gets knocked out of bounds off of St. Joe's, and Middle will get it back, trailing 11-9.
We expected a competitive game coming in, obviously living up to its billing early on. You're seeing a lot of guys get involved for both teams. Neither team has a guy that will really carry it. If there is one for Middle, it's Trey Greer, but at the point guard spot, he has to get other guys involved as well.
Greer with the ball on the left wing with 1.5 minutes left to play. Greer circles back out into the game as Laverne Fitzpatrick. Long two, and Greer connects. He's got 6. They tied it up at 11.
Little shake move there, and that's the difference between a guy who maybe will finish his career in high school and a guy who can play at the next level.
Jordan Davis turns it over, and a shot goes up by Tony, and it's short, and Davis comes back down with the rebound. So Davis into the game for Bedino, and Davis crosses the timeline. Davis into the right wing. Kicking it back out. Heron, man-to-man look for Middle. Extending that a little bit now as Tony comes out on Kieran Dongo, right of the lane, kicks it in the corner. Heron for three, and it is short. The rebound comes down offensive board for Kieran Dongo. He goes up with it, and it's stripped away. Now the ball comes out, and it comes out to Greer. Greer up the right sideline with 30 seconds to go. Gets it into the corner. Back up top for Greer. Greer calling for one. There's 24 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Greer stared down here by Heron. Back to the top of the key, between the circles. Right side, looking for a screen, rolls off of it, 8 seconds. Right side, 3 ball, Fitzpatrick long, and the rebound comes down for Kieran Dongo with 3 seconds. He's just gonna shoot one up the length of the court, and that's gonna do it. The end of one with the score, Middle Township 11, St. Joe's 11. It is the Glory Days Magazine game of the night here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill and Mike Frankel here. Mike, a very up and down first quarter.
Yeah, both teams starting to settle in a little bit, and like we said, we expected a good competitive game and tied at 11 after one. I think Trey Greer is a guy who can really take over a game for Middle Township. Maybe overlooked a little bit last season based on the season the Panthers had, sub 500 for the first time under head coach Tom Faracco. Of course, they lost that great graduating class the year before, but Trey was a factor that sort of steadied the ship last year. They played a very competitive schedule. Without him, maybe they lose even more games. Definitely they lose even more games. So they finished right around 500. Trey Greer taking that next step this year as sort of the leader. And he's a guy for Middle Township on the outside that St. Joe, I'm not sure if they have a guy that can match up with him, but it all depends on how much Greer wants to penetrate himself, how much he wants to get guys involved. And then for St. Joe, B.J. Mitchell, we saw flashes of his athleticism early on. He's a guy that needs to get to the bucket for St. Joe to be successful, and he's done that a few times in the first quarter.
If you want to follow along tonight's game, use the hashtag HS973. HS973. Use that hashtag to follow along our tweets on Twitter. Over on the right side, back to live action. Middle Township with the ball, moving right to left in black. Faracco back into the game. Here's Greer, Corey Greer, into the corner for Karen. Elbow all the way, Greer, and he's fouled, and that's the advantage of being able to use both hands there. You know, he's a righty, but goes to that left hand and gets himself shielded and fouled.
Yeah, he really plays under control, Trey Greer. He's not a guy that's going to force the issue when it's not there. Obviously, comes from a big basketball family and playing under Tom Faracco for a number of years now. He knows how to play the game the right way. But, you know, he's a guy that's going to take what the defense gives him. When he has to force the issue, he will. But certainly a guy who can draw contact, also finish around the rim.
And the first one is no good. Second attempt for Greer is in and gives Middle a 1-point advantage. 12-11, they lead, 7:39 to play here in the second quarter. More pressure from Middle, and the ball's on the floor, poked away. Middle picks it back up, but St. Joe's comes away with it. Nearly taken away by the Panthers, and now St. Joe gets a chance to slow it down. Holman back up top into the game for St. Joe, Jeff Thompson. Vidino on the left wing. Vidino has it high over his head. He goes baseline, and Vidino spins. Back to Mitchell, who's scoreless. Mitchell spins. Mitchell kicks it out. 3-ball from the lefty, Holman. It's long, and the rebound comes down to Greer. 12-11, Middle leads, and here they come. Under 7 to play in the half. Greer, look off, and a jumper short. The rebound comes down for Vidino. A lot of up and down. Here come the Wildcats up the left sideline, Vidino. Val Vidino backing it out, stared down by Faracco. Between the circles. Left side, Thompson thinks about a 3. Now he's going to take it. It's short, and it's tipped into the hands of Greer. Greer crosses the timeline. Stops, top of the key, taking it into the corner for Corey Greer on the wing now. Corey Greer's pointing out his spots, looking for a little screen. He gets it, foul line jumper short, and the rebound comes down to Herron. 12-11, 6.5 minutes to play in the half, and a lot of empty possessions. Herron kicks it out. Jeff Thompson to the top of the key. Thompson on a man-to-man look, gets it to Vidino in the corner, high over his head, bounce pass down low, Mitchell puts it high and up off the glass, so B.J. Mitchell has 4. We said he was scoreless, first bucket of the second quarter.
It's all about how often St. Joe can get the basketball to B.J. Mitchell. Middle is keying on him defensively, especially in the low post. They have to find ways to get him the basketball. They're able to do it there.
Up top for Faracco, long 3, he steps into it, back of the rim, no good. The rebound comes down to Herron. Here comes St. Joe's with a 1-point lead. 5:45 to play. They get it to Vidino, catches at midcourt, dribbles between 2, little ball fake into the corner. The lefty is long, and it comes down to Middle. Middle Township. Greer kicks it over to Tony. Tony back to Greer. Greer thinking about a 3. Well, poke step. Now he pulls it back out. And he loses the handle. He's going to go back for it. And St. Joe's going to get the ball back with a 1-point lead and 5:23 to play in the half.
Maybe a freshman mistake there. Corey Greer trying to do a little bit too much at the top of the key. Good man-to-man defense from St. Joe. Situation where you want to just pass the basketball and move, not try to do too much, especially so early on in the possession. Shots will come. Don't have to force the issue there.
Into the game for St. Joe, Jordan Davis, and they get it to the right side. Kieran Dongo back in. The shot's blocked away from Mitchell. Ooh, and a foul called. Marty Karen's going to get whistled, and B.J. Mitchell now looks like they're trying to get him more involved.
Yeah, you're starting to see the game plan for St. Joe, and it's no secret B.J. Mitchell is their guy, especially on the inside. And as long as he gets the basketball in there, he can find things to do with it. You know, it doesn't have to be the perfect entry pass, but as long as he has the ball in his hands, he's going to find a way to score or get to the line.
Mitchell's shot is good, the first one. Gives him a 2-point lead. B.J. Mitchell, the second of 2. Mitchell bends and fires. The second one is up, and it is in and out, no good. The rebound comes down to Greer. Greer with a 2-point deficit. Middle trails St. Joe with 5:10 to play. Bounce pass on the right side. Tony back up top. Karen gives up the dribble. A lot of pressure. He finally gives it away to Greer. This is Trey Greer backing it out. About quarters court. Uses the screen. Right of the lane. Scoop in the bucket, and he's fouled. It'll go to the line for the 3-point advantage, and that's there, just athletic ability.
Yeah, mismatch, and sensing that mismatch on the outside, you have a big guy trying to guard the point guard, Trey Greer, out there, and again, an experienced player can identify that mismatch and take advantage of it, and you see his finishing ability around the rim.
Greer at the line trying to complete the 3-point play with a tie score. Gives Middle the 1-point lead, the bucket's good. 4:52 to play here in the half. More pressure from Middle. Kirindongo just fires one away. It's a nice catch there by Holman. Crosses the timeline as they get it into the corner. Bedino, swing pass, 3-ball on the way. Davis is long, and the rebound goes out of bounds, and it'll go back to Middle Township as they lead it by a point with 4:39 to play, 15-14.
That Panthers full court pressure giving St. Joe a little bit of trouble. Now the Wildcats able to break it there, but in doing so, they rush their offense, and that's always the thing you look at. Hey, you beat the press, but let's get into our sets here. Let's get into our stuff. Instead, they rush the shot, and ends up being really a bad shot. Middle takes over.
Tony with the ball, hands it back off, gets it to Greer. Greer with the left hand, over to Fitzpatrick at the elbow, up and under move, puts up a shot. It's going to hit off the backboard, ripped down by B.J. Mitchell. Mitchell crosses the timeline into the corner. Bedino for 3, hits off the backboard, tipped out, and it's run down by Davis. Davis goes right down to the blocks. Heron with an up and under move. It's shot, it's blocked away, and Middle comes down with the rebound. 1-point lead, 4 minutes to go in the half.
Marty Karen with the block right there, a guy who didn't see a ton of varsity action last year.
But what a shot by Greer as he just used a spin move to get some separation.
Can score in so many ways, Trey Greer. Really, the Cape Atlantic League's best-kept secret last year. They're finding out about him this year.
Kirindongo tries a crossover. His shot comes down short, and the rebound comes down to Marty Karen. Here comes Middle with a 3-point advantage. Greer in the corner, back to Fitzpatrick. Greer and Tony now has it at the top of the key. Over to Karen on the right side. Karen up top. Fitzpatrick drives the lane. Karen a wide open 3. It's long, and the rebound comes down for St. Joe, and Farraco gets a hand on it, and we'll see with George McLean. He's got a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to face St. Joe's here, so they'll get the ball back with 3:24 to go in the half.
Good hustle from both teams, and leave it to the coach's son to be the one diving on the floor there as Mike Farraco gets down and ties that up. Unfortunately for him, possession goes to St. Joe.
And here is Jordan Davis walking the basketball up for St. Joe's. Now he picks up the steam, crosses the timeline, gets it to Bedino, up top for Kirindongo. Thought about a 3, gets it into the corner, and it's snapped back up top for Val Bedino. Over to Kirindongo, who goes baseline, a running jumper, it's no good, and it's ripped down by Farraco. Middle trying to take some control here. 3, the biggest lead of the ball game so far. All the way to the basket, a little scoop shot almost went down for Greer, who hit the deck. Kirindongo comes down with the board. Behind the back, in the middle of the lane, bounce pass, it's stolen away. And here goes one-on-one all the way to the basket, and an easy lay-in for Tony, and he gives them a 5-point lead here with 2:44 to go. And more pressure from Middle, and we got some whistles now, and St. Joe's is going to take a timeout with 2:42 left to play here in the half. 19-14 Middle over St. Joe.
Paul Rodeo not happy right now, fired up about something on that St. Joe sideline. His team down by 5 all of a sudden. And we didn't talk about it too much so far, Mike, but you have to mention just 23 years old, of course, the son of longtime St. Augustine head coach Paul Rodeo. So really a contrasting style of head coaches. You have the young blood coming in for St. Joe. On the other sideline, Tom Farraco, been there for decades. South Jersey championships, state titles. So a nice little kind of 2 sides to this deal tonight, Mike.
Sure is, and Boost Mobile for a limited time. Boost Mobile now offers you double the high-speed data while dropping the price on limited talk and text. And now with double the data starting at only $35 a month. Hurry up, this offer will not last forever. Visit boostmobile.com or your local Boost Mobile retailer for details. Visit Boost Mobile by J Communications in Egg Harbor Township in the MGM Auto Mall, 6400 Black Horse Pike, or at 26 North Main Street in Pleasantville. Offer ends on the 15th of January, and stay tuned later on. We'll give you our Boost Mobile player who gave his team the biggest boost tonight. St. Joe's Inbounds, beats the press. Davis, the layup, and it's short, and the rebound is taken right back by Davis. Boy, he got lucky there as he tiptoed the line. Now he puts up a shot. It is short. The rebound comes down for Heron, and he is fouled. So St. Joe's working hard to try to get just a bucket here.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of wild shots, especially around the basket, but give credit to Middle Township. When things look open down the lane, the Panthers sort of converging in on the ball handler and really forcing tough shots for St. Joe, but certainly the Wildcats able to get to the line here, so they'll take that.
Jordan Heron at the line for St. Joe. The first one is real short. They've only scored 3 points here in this quarter. Really, the pressure from Middle Township giving them some problems.
Yeah, that full court pressure we talked about. If they don't turn St. Joe over, they're forcing them into some uncomfortable situations, some early shots, some things they don't want to do.
Heron's second shot is good, and they finally get on the board here. 19-15, St. Joe trails. Now they put on a little half-court trap here. They get it easily across the timeline, and now Farraco catches and pulls it back out. They get it into Greer's hands. Greer with 12 points here in the first half. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the half. Greer all the way to the paint. A little runner in the middle of the paint. It's ripped down by Heron as he had 3 Wildcat jerseys in his face.
Yeah, one of the few times where he's really forced at a wild shot there from Trey Greer.
Left side, Davis. Jordan Davis tries an entry pass, and it is swatted away, and here comes Middle. Middle with numbers, 2-on-1, and the layup is good. Give an assist there to Fitzpatrick, and Tony with a transition bucket, his 4th of the quarter, and he has 7 in the game. 21-15, Middle leads.
Bad turnover at the other end, sort of a half alley-oop, half lob pass, and Middle able to take advantage with the Tony layup.
And Middle steals another one away. They get another 2-on-1, and a reverse lay-in is no good. Fitzpatrick loses the handle, and now Mitchell. Mitchell 1-on-2, so he's got to pull it back out, gets it into the corner, going baseline. Bounce pass to Bedina. Jeff Thompson into the game for St. Joe. Bedina back up top with 1:11 to play here in the half. Bedino gets it into the left wing. Up top, Davis. Over to the right side, Bedino. Trying to get that entry pass down low, but Mitchell just can't get open. Great defense. Now they get it to Mitchell. He goes baseline, but the kick out for 3. Davis is long, and the rebound is fought for down on the ground. It's still on the ground. Now Mitchell comes out with it, and he gets a layup. So B.J. Mitchell has 5 in the quarter, 7 overall, 21-17.
Mitchell shaking his head, had to work really hard for that bucket, go down, pick the ball off the court, in traffic, go up. Didn't even really know where the rim was, but that's how athletic he is. He found the rim in the air and finished.
Ooh, it might have taken steps, but they missed that one there. Tony gets it in the hand of Fitzpatrick. Laverne Fitzpatrick guarded out there by Heron with 20 seconds left. Middle looking for one. Middle, 21-17, they lead it. Into the corner, back up top. 12 seconds, little jab step. Farraco comes out for the screen, now a kick out to the corner, a 3 for Tony, and he buried it. 24-17, a dagger right there, and as time expires, the shot goes up, and that is the way we will end the first half. The score, Middle Township 24, and
which, by the way, has drawn huge buzz the last couple of years. It was a great move, I think, to start it. It was a better move to move it to 8 teams. You saw the 4 seed, Wildwood Catholic, march all the way to the championship last year, and that was sort of the rallying cry for the Crusaders. How can you seed me 4? But it just creates buzz. It creates conversation about area high school basketball.
And it's moving this year. It used to be at Hamilton, who's no longer in the Cape Atlantic League, and getting it picked up this year is at Apsagami. Will be where those games are played for the Cape Atlantic League playoffs. We'll be there, but right now we're in Hamilton, the start of the third quarter with Middle Township leading 24-17. They have the basketball now moving left to right. They're in black and orange if you're watching the video. Greer's shot comes up short. St. Joe's in white and red comes down with the rebound. Mitchell gets it poked away. Bedino runs it down. Man-to-man defense by Middle Township as we start this third quarter. Heron with a long jumper, and it's short. Not a great shot to start the third quarter for St. Joe. The rebound comes down to Middle Township.
Really a tough shot to start the third quarter. Contested, too. Probably better off moving the basketball a little bit.
Long 3 for Tony. The shot is poked. The rebound comes down to Greer. Greer double teamed. He steps out of it and gets the ball into the hands of his brother Corey. The 3 is good, and he kind of gives a look there. And Corey Greer with some words as he hits a 3.
Yeah, it could have been 4. It looked like he got hit a little bit, and then he come back the other end. B.J. Mitchell, is that a 3-pointer? Yeah.
Looks like, yeah. Well, Mitchell tried to answer the 3, and he was kind of hit by Tony. would have been a 4-point play. He could have got that one to fall, and he'll go to the line and get 3 shots instead. Yeah, Corey Greer stepped right into that 3 and was almost like, you serious? You're going to give me the shot?
Yeah, you knew he was going to get going. We mentioned it during the halftime show there. Another guy for Middle Township to rely on. Again, only a freshman, but really looks like a junior, maybe even a senior out there. Put together body-wise, strong, physical, and a guy who's only going to get better. But nice for the Greer brothers to be able to have this 1 year to play together at the high school level.
Yeah, I'm imagining national conference teams just thrilled having to see that he's just a freshman and having this much of an impact. He's certainly a very mature-looking freshman out there, 6 foot, and he's got obviously the intangibles already. He doesn't look like a raw kid.
Yeah, and the Greer brothers just keep coming. They both have an older brother who played for Middle Township just a couple of years ago and is a nice, solid player too. So I think opposing coaches are saying, hey, we can't catch a break. We can't avoid these Greer guys.
Well, here's one of them, Corey, with a crossover and a 3, and he hits it long, and the rebound comes down for Heron. And Heron looking for an outlet. He gets it to Vadino. Vadino up the left sideline here, and now he slows it down. 27-18, St. Joe's trails with the basketball. Bounce pass at the elbow over to Mitchell. Mitchell in the corner for Heron. Heron thinking about a 3. Now he's going to take the 3. It's off the rim, no good. Mitchell with the rebound high off the glass, and he gets the offensive putback. So Mitchell has all 3 of the points here in the third quarter for St. Joe. They trail by 7.
Score just coming in from our friend Dave O'Sullivan, of course, AC Glory Days. He's over at the EHT Oakcrest game. EHT winning that game, so a nice win for the Silver Eagles tonight over the Falcons.
That improves EHT to 5-2. Oakcrest falls to 4-3 on the season. So EHT 5-2. Another team going to be looking for a little wild card berth there.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't count the Silver Eagles out. I know they have a lot of guys back from a team last year that really made a little bit of noise. Certainly no one wanted to play EHT down the stretch, but a team that, again, could be in consideration for maybe one of those final spots of the Cal tournament this year.
Trey Greer at the line hits the first one, and the second one is up and good. Pair of shots there makes it a 29-20 game. Biggest lead of the night, 9 points here. Middle showing pressure, and they steal it away. Tony with the steal off the inbound, puts it up high. Rebound Greer. Greer shot, and he's fouled. And Heron whistled. And right now, Middle Township with that pressure, they've done a good job getting some turnovers tonight with that press.
St. Joe really has no answer for that pressure right now. They got to figure something out, whether it's trying to get the ball more in Val Vadino's hand. Obviously, if you're going to pressure a team, you want to try to take the point guard away, and that's what Middle's doing right now. But conversely, St. Joe has to find a way to get the ball in the point guard's hands because he's the guy who can break that pressure.
Greer's first one's good, gives them a 10-point lead, the biggest lead of the game. EHT, that game went to overtime, by the way, 59-46. They dominate that overtime period. So EHT again improves to 5-2. Here it's 31-21, 11-point lead for Middle. Kirandongo off the inbound, bounce passes up to Davis. Davis over to Mitchell. Mitchell's shot is blocked, but they're going to whistle Karen for a foul. So Mitchell getting back to the line here, and Mitchell has really been the one bright spot offensively for St. Joe.
Yeah, tough to stop him in there, of course. A little bit of a mismatch, him running full speed at a defender, but probably better off for Karen to try and take the charge there. But, tough to call him out for it. Bang, bang play. You have Mitchell going to the line.
First shot for Mitchell at the line is good. B.J. Mitchell with 4 points here in the third quarter, cuts the lead to 10. And into the game is Colin Cooper for his first appearance for Middle Township. Second shot by Mitchell is short, and the rebound comes down to Middle Township. Greer comes away with it. 31-21, 5-point lead, 10-point lead with 5:50 to go. Greer knifes his way right down the middle of the paint and gets a layup to fall, and he's a handful. Mitchell tries to answer, and he is fouled right back the other way. Boy, Greer, he just took it right down the middle there and just kind of finger rolls that right in there. He's a 6-foot guard and very athletic.
Absolutely. It looked like he started that finger roll below the rim, maybe soft rims out here, and it rolled over the rim and in, but you're getting glimpses of how good he can be. Again, so young. I don't know what position he truly is, guard, forward, sort of a combo, but it doesn't matter what position he is. What matters is he can ball, and he's doing it here tonight.
Mitchell at the line missed the first. Just 2 for 4 from the line here in this third quarter. Second one's good, so Mitchell makes it 33-22, 11-point lead with 5:38 to go. Middle with the lead and the ball. Half-court trap now by St. Joe. That leaves a wide open Cooper and a lay-in. 35-22, 13-point, biggest lead of the night.
Something way off at the back end there of that St. Joe pressure. It looked like good pressure in the backcourt, but all of a sudden you leave two guys wide open under your own basket.
Jordan Davis, right wing, up top. Bedino thought about a three. Left side. Davis up top. Kirindongo over to Bedino. Bedino putting it on the floor up top for Davis. Davis stared down by Greer. Under 5 to play here in the third. Davis, a left-hand runner, high off the glass, no good, comes down to Greer. And here comes Middle. Greer tries to get a nice shot, and he gets a nice lane to the basket and a nice assist on that one as he gets it over again to Cooper, who's got 4 off the bench.
St. Joe's got to be careful here. This one's slipping away quickly, and I think Paul Rodeo senses that, calling the timeout. I mean, in the blink of an eye, 15-point game.
There because he thinks like you think he wants to score the basketball, and he did a great job creating the double team and then just zipping a pass down on the block for an easy layup for Colin Cooper, who's been in the game for all about 2 minutes and has 4 points already.
Nice when you check in and you get that layup. It's that when you jack that 3 ball when you first come off the bench. That's what coaches don't like.
Davis gets the ball with 4:35 for St. Joe, down 15, and he dribbles it right off his foot out of bounds, and it's that kind of night for the Wildcats. Ooh, they're going to give it to, they say it went off of Greer's foot, and now the officials are going to get together, and they're going to keep it. They're going to keep it with St. Joe now. So good job by the officials of getting together on that one.
Yeah, George McLean not too popular on the Middle Township bench right now, but he thought he had a good angle at it, and he keeps it with St. Joe.
Right side, Bedino. The defensive pressure just stifling right now by Middle. Kirindongo back top for Bedino. Bedino following out the play, stared down by Farraco. Tom Farraco Sr. is on his knees. He is into this game too. I mean, he is on the court, although you're pretty much on the court here anyway.
We're pretty much on the court.
Bedino, right side for Davis. And the ball is entry pass is poked away, trying to get it to Mitchell. Greer comes out of the pack with it. Under 4 minutes to play in the third. Very unique setting here at St. Joe. Greer on the right side. Spinning away from Davis. Gets it to Farraco. Farraco crossing over Bedino. Over to Greer. Greer. Little between the legs, shake and bake, gets a little separation, gets a little underhand pass, and somehow Cooper stepped on the end line there. I think he just wasn't aware of where he was on the floor.
Greer with a nice move there. Maybe the pass a little bit too hot to handle. That's what Tom Farraco is telling him right now. We don't need the razzle-dazzle at this point. Just sort of play fundamental basketball. But again, glimpses of what Corey Greer can do with that nice little dribble penetration.
Jeff Thompson into the game for St. Joe. They trail by 15. 3:25 left to play here in the third. Into the corner for Kirindongo. Kirindongo puts it on the floor one time, gets it to Mitchell at the elbow, bounces out, gives it to Davis. Davis over to Kirindongo, thinks about a three, into the corner for Bedino, who takes it back up top, coming up on 3 minutes in the third. Entry pass kicked away again. They continue to try that entry pass, and Middle's having none of it.
You have to knock down some threes at least to get that entry pass a little bit more open. I mean, you talk about feeding B.J. Mitchell. Yes, you have to do that, but you also have to knock down some shots for Middle to honor you on the outside.
And there's a long three, no good. Thompson, the rebound comes down to St. Joe. The bounce pass down low for Mitchell. It's knocked off of the foot of Cooper, and it'll stay with St. Joe. They just can't get a three to fall.
I wonder if they could maybe get Mitchell going off some screens a little bit. It seems like Middle Township has sagged in on him down low. They're really making it difficult for him to catch down there. Maybe try to run him off a screen or two, get him going that way.
They get a pass to Bedino in the corner, and right there to greet him is Farraco. Really good defense by Middle. Between the legs, Davis, stared down by Corey Greer. Heron on the right side. Heron at the elbow, throws up a floater and gets that to fall. So Jordan Heron is the first Wildcat to score a bucket since the first quarter.
And it wasn't easy. That was a highly contested shot. Again, good defense by Middle Township. But give Heron credit, able to knock it down. Sort of the floater in the lane there.
He's got three in the game. Greer uses a screen. Now he puts it between the legs, goes to the left elbow, kicks it out, and he throws it away. And that's where Tom Farraco already getting a little out of control here. Got a big lead. He wants to put on a little bit of a show. And there's where you see the youth.
Yeah, just make the fundamental pass there. No need to do anything crazy, especially with a 13-point lead. And, Corey Greer understands that. He's going to understand it a little bit more after Tom Ferraco brings him to the bench.
Laverne Fitzpatrick, a junior, replaces him. 37-24, St. Joe's trails with the ball. 2 minutes to play here in the third. 97.3ESPN.com. Matt Ulmer has the video here. And, of course, you can watch all our games online at 97.3ESPN and ACGloryDays.com. Bounce pass in the paint, trying to get to the hoop. Mitchell gets fouled, and he is frustrated because he just can't get any separation. Middle Township doing a really good job on it.
It's not even a question. When Mitchell gets the basketball down there, he has to go to the basket. It's not coming back out. It's sort of a black hole down there right now, but why not? He's the only guy really doing anything for St. Joe on the offensive end, so you can't blame him for not passing it once he gets it down low. It's hard enough for him to grab it down there, but every single time he's going to go to the basket, and he's doing a nice job drawing fouls, but really it's not enough right now, Mike.
It's his 13th point of the night, makes the first free throw, cuts the lead to 12. Mitchell will get the second shot here. And the second one is up, and it is front rim no good. Rebound comes down to Greer. 37-25, Middle leads. Don't forget tomorrow at 2, Atlantic City MLK right here on 97.3 ESPN and 97.3ESPN.com. Shake and bake there by Ferraco. Can't leave. Vadino is in his hip pocket. Vadino with good defense, and he finally hands it off for Tony. Tony with a left-hand dribble, loses it momentarily and runs it down. Fitzpatrick stared down here by Mitchell. Pulling Mitchell out now, getting a screen. Uses the screen, rolls off it nicely, and kicks it into the corner. Trey Greer over for Ferraco. A long three, good. And Middle's hitting those shots. St. Joe simply not. 40-25.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I think that's the first three of the game from Mike Ferraco, and he can hit that shot. That's what he brings to the table. He's a lethal outside shooter, a streaky shooter. When he gets hot, look out.
Yeah, his first points of the game. It is his first three. 15-point advantage, under a minute to play in the third. Foul line jumper, and it is good. So Jeff Thompson in the game and hits a bucket. 27 points in the game for St. Joe. They trail 40-27. Fitzpatrick. Thompson trying to put some pressure on Fitzpatrick. 38 seconds to play here in the third. Double team, and Fitzpatrick gets it into the hands of Tony. Tony, and there's a foul called on Mitchell, and just 29 seconds left here in this third quarter.
Looking like Middle Township will try to hold for one shot again. No reason to rush this thing. 13-point lead. You want to go into the fourth quarter with at least that lead, maybe 15 or 16, if the Panthers can get a good shot off near the end of this thing.
Yes, St. Joe's going to have to start hitting some outside jumpers here. They have been ice cold the entire evening. In fact, they hit the one three-pointer by Kieran Dongo to start this game, and that's been it. Corey Greer, cross court to Fitzpatrick. 16 seconds to play here in the third. Mitchell coming out. More extension by the defense. Fitzpatrick looking for the screen. Here it comes. Now puts it between the leg, loses the handle. Ferraco puts it on the floor, kicks it out. It's blocked away by Heron, then kicked out for a Greer three, and it's good. And Trey Greer with a dagger. 42-27. The long three ends the third quarter with the score. Middle Township 43 and St. Joe's 27.
That's the kind of night it's sort of been here tonight, Mike, for St. Joe. You do everything right. You play good defense there. You know Middle is holding for one shot. You almost come up with the turnover, sort of a loose ball situation. It gets poked out to Trey Greer, and he knocks down the three. If you're Paul Rodeo for St. Joe, there's not much more you can ask for that final possession defensively. Just a lot of bad luck there. But again, Middle Township taking advantage, being opportunistic, and knocking down that timely shot. You talked about St. Joe not really being able to hit many from deep. Well, Middle Township's not exactly lighting it up, but they're hitting timely shots, and they're stretching the lead when they have to and really not letting the Wildcats back into this thing at this point. Size, they might have trouble running into some teams come the playoff time with some size, but, there's ways around that. You just have to box out. Tom Ferraco will tell you that.
Middle with a near steal. Ferraco on the floor with Vadino. As we start the fourth quarter, and the jump ball is going to give the ball back to Middle. And there's Ferraco. You talk about the size and all those things. They have the scoring, but you got guys like Ferraco who are willing to do the little things.
Both Ferracos on the floor right there. Tom, of course, always on the floor while he coaches, and you have his son Mikey diving for a loose ball.
I thought the father was going to come up with that loose ball.
He has before.
Karen into the game, gets it off to the left wing. Up top for Junior, who hits a long three, and as you just mentioned, if he can start hitting those, this team's tough, and all of a sudden they have a 19-point lead. Mitchell shot is short. Greer comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, ultimate streaky shooter, Mike Farraco, and when he's hot, like any streaky shooter, you don't want to give him space, and able to knock down another 3 there. And even at the start of this quarter, this one really getting away from St. Joe right now.
Farraco with that 3 makes it 46-27. On to the right side for Tony. Back to Farraco with the top of the key. Stare down by Vedino. Now they hand off to Greer. Greer working on Heron. Left of the lane, kicks it into the corner. Thought about a 3. Back to Farraco. Under 7 minutes to play. Killing some clock are the Panthers. They lead by 19. Farraco all the way. He might have taken steps, but he was guided to those steps apparently by Vedino. So a foul there on the floor. 46-27, 6:50 to go.
Middle Township in no rush right now, obviously, 19-point lead.
Miami Dolphins, and now works with other hearing impaired people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nice story by Dave in Glory Days magazine. Layup is good, 48-27. Middle gets another one right off the timeout there, and St. Joe, they get an open look, and even when they get an open look, Middle's saying earn it.
Yeah, Marty Caron at the other end with the easy layup for Middle Township out of the out-of-bounds situation. And then, as you mentioned there, it looks like Drew Homan's going up for an easy bucket, and you have a guy flying in from the backside to at least foul him and make it difficult. It's been that kind of night for the Wildcats.
The lefty shot is strong, no good. And Middle Township with their largest lead of 21 points right now. And the second one strong, no good too. And the rebound gets tipped out by Heron, who comes down with the board for St. Joe. Heron, little dribble drive to the basket, tries to get a little reverse. And that's where, the Greer kids, if you're using that left, you see Heron, that's a shot where he should have gone left. He couldn't. He went right and it almost had to go back from underneath the basket. And that's the inability to use both hands.
You're getting the sense of the desperation right now for St. Joe, too. Really no offense run on that play. You get the offensive rebound after a missed free throw, and you have a guy go one-on-one. Give him credit, he gets to the line, but it's a desperate situation for sure right now for the St. Joe Wildcats.
And Heron missed the first one. We'll have the Boost Mobile player who gave the team a boost at the end of the game here, and there's obviously 3 big candidates for Middle Township, as the second one is good for Jordan Heron. This was a close game early, 11-11 after the first quarter, but it's been all Middle really since that time. They went into the half with a 24-17 lead.
That makes this lead even more impressive when you factor in, and yes, it was tied after one. It's really quite literally been all Middle Township since then.
20-point lead. Farraco with a floater on the baseline and gets it to fall, and Mike Farraco's having a nice second half with 7 points for Middle Township. Heron thinks about a 3, stares it down, long. Rebound hits off Mitchell's chest, and it's run down by Greer. Tony crosses the timeline to Corey Greer. Under 6 minutes to play. Greer left of the lane all the way to the basket. Left-hand layup. Oh, just too strong. Holman comes down the board. Mitchell brings it back for St. Joe. Swing pass for Kieran Dongo, who thought about a 3. Kieran Dongo in the corner. Heron back to Kieran Dongo with 5:35 to play. 50-28 Middle over St. Joe. Swing pass for Holman. Holman puts it on the floor, gets it to Heron. Up top on the corner for Mitchell. Long jumper for 3 by Kieran Dongo is no good, and it's knocked off Vedino, and it's going to stay with St. Joe.
You mentioned Kieran Dongo had a chance to jack a 3 up early in that possession, and at this point in the game, why not? You're down by so many points. If you have an open shot, take it. You get a 3 later in the possession, but it's contested. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
He's the one guy who did make a 3 in the game.
That's right. He can stroke it from out there, so if you're open, take it.
Heron with the ball on the right wing, high over his head. Holman said, I'll take it. He hits a 3, and it's good.
There you go. If you're open, you got to take him at this point with this huge deficit. The only way St. Joe can get back in this thing.
5 points in the game for Drew Holman. That's his first 3. And the first 3 for St. Joe since the first quarter, making it a 19-point game, 50-31. 4:50 to play here in the game. 3 ball thought by Farraco, and he decided to pull it back out. Corey Greer, cross court, down low. Farraco goes baseline and just dishes it back to the top of the key, and they're running some clock here. Greer, and he is pushed off there. They're calling that hand check a lot this year. That's a new rule, and you saw it right there because that was very little contact.
Panthers already, as you mentioned there, in sort of kill the clock mode right now. You saw a couple chances to jack up open 3s. Obviously, you don't want to take them right now with a 19-point lead. You saw Mike Faracco with a chance to have an easy baseline jumper, pass that up too. So really smart play right now for the Panthers. Clock in their favor. They just want to run this thing down. Absolutely get an open layup, if anything.
Yeah, and right now St. Joe not showing a lot of urgency here. They're not really pressing, and they're not really, turning up that defensive intensity. I think they're kind of realizing tonight might just not be their night. As Faracco trying to spin away from Jordan Davis, they get back to Greer. Greer at the top, all the way at quarters court in the corner, right in front of the middle bench. Now he takes an 18-foot jumper, rattles it and out. No good. The rebound run down by Corey Greer. It's been that kind of night. Ball just lands right in the middle's hands on the wide open court. Faracco, ball high over his head. Belt high dribble, spins off the Davis. Uses a screen, cuts down the middle, into the corner. Karen, now a step-in three by Greer, and the ball is into the hands of Tim Toney, but George McLean thinks that St. Joe's pushed off the ball first, and it's going to be a foul on the Wildcats with 3:44 left to play here in the game.
Just deflating for St. Joe. They're playing pretty good defense, the Wildcats are, but in a situation like this, if you help, if you double team, the Panthers are going to find the open man and run even more clock. So you can play good man-to-man defense. They've really been playing pretty decent defense all night, but at this point, it's really too much to ask to try to play them straight up.
And an inbound pass, and again, that's St. Joe just kind of falling asleep there. They get an easy inbound pass on a wide-open block, and you get forced to foul with 3:43 left in the game. You send Karen to the line.
Yeah, let's be honest, you don't want to call a game over before it is, but you look up at that scoreboard after 3 and you see that deficit, and we've all played sports. It's sort of deflating. It's a tough situation to climb back from. You're not going to have the same energy. We're talking about St. Joe here that you had early in the game, facing that kind of uphill climb. Really tough odds to get back into this one.
Dylan Amos into the game for St. Joe. To a little bit of applause from the student body here as the second one is missed. The ball hits the ground and goes out of bounds, but it goes off a St. Joe player and it'll go back to middle. So Amos, the first deeper reserve into the game for St. Joe, their first sign of maybe putting up the white flag here tonight, is it just hasn't been their night shooting the basketball.
Good chance to get some guys some varsity experience too. A guy like Amos doesn't play a ton of minutes, but here he is in a varsity game. Maybe he can do some positive things, earn some more playing time next game.
And the St. Joe JVs beat middle 46-43 in a very tight battle here before the varsity game.
Yeah, thriller. And they actually, the scoreboards here are a little strange. They have the guest on the left and the home on the right. So I'm looking up at the end of the JV game thinking an open layup just won the game. And you're saying, Mike, settle down. That was just extended the victory to 3 points.
Well, maybe, St. Joe's has been known as a football school. Maybe when you walked into the gym, when you looked up, they wanted the perception that they were winning when they were having not the best years.
Right.
So they flipped those guests at home to make it feel like they were always winning these games.
Yeah, a game like this, I think Paul Rodeo might ask for some of Paul Sacco's help. You know what I mean? It's been not a lot that St. Joe can do. When you don't knock down shots, it's going to be tough. You try to get BJ Mitchell involved. He can only do so much down low. He's doing all he can down there. You see him getting a little bit frustrated at this point, and with good reason. He's being double, triple teamed down there. He has, 13, 15 points, but just nowhere close on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, Mitchell's been really the only offensive weapon for St. Joe. Is the only player anywhere near double figures. He's in double figures. He's the only one anywhere near double figures. In fact, Drew Holman hit that 3, and he is the only other player that has 2 field goals on the night. As this shot is no good. The rebound, the shot by Faracco is no good. The rebound comes down to Mitchell. Mitchell gets it to Quirindongo for 3, and that one is way off the mark.
Yeah, you don't mind that shot, though. You have to take him at this point. It wasn't really open, but you got to take it. So you'll live with that at this point.
Very unusual setting here at St. Joe's. For those of you who have never been here, they have a stage at the back end, so that's kind of your backdrop when you're shooting down the one end of the floor. And that's the end that St. Joe's is shooting at right now. That's a lot of openness back there.
Almost comparable to Wildwood Catholic. We talked about it a little bit. Maybe not as quote-unquote old school as Catholic's gym, but pretty far up there.
Reverse layup, no good. Karen comes down with an offensive board, and he takes steps as he tries to get the outlet pass there, and the Wildcats going to bring in a couple of more reserves here as they're emptying the proverbial bench. St. Joe is.
Yeah, why not? 20-point lead right now, 20-point deficit, we should say, for St. Joe. And like we talked about, just give some of these kids a chance. You know, these kids are going to be relied on at the varsity level at some point. You don't want the guys who have been playing for you getting hurt in a situation like this. Does no one any good. So get some of these other guys in and give them a chance to sort of put on a show in front of a varsity crowd here.
Yeah, and 51-31, 20-point advantage for Middle Township as St. Joe trails. They basically have trailed most of the second half, the entire second half. It was 11-11, and then after that, Middle has really controlled most of this game. And they've really done it, Mike, with their defense. I mean, St. Joe's really just has not been able to score the basketball in any capacity other than the free throw line, as Davis's three is long and Greer comes down with the miss.
Both teams, we mentioned it, playing pretty good defense. Middle's defense obviously a lot better, but you can't really knock St. Joe's effort on the defensive end. A lot of things have gone wrong for them. Just look at that right there. You have Trey Greer coming down the court, jacking up. Not an easy shot, and it rims in. It's just, you don't want to say it too many times, but it's been the case. It's been that kind of night, second half. But during the time when Middle built that advantage, which was the second quarter, it was the Trey Greer show. So I think he gives them that boost tonight.
Riccardi's three shot was blocked right back into his lap, and it comes down to Middle Township as he's into the game, Eric Riccardi.
Yeah, his older brother, of course, Charlie, one of the standouts for St. Joe last season. I believe he's playing at Rowan now. So another Riccardi, certainly not ready to take the reins at the varsity level, but getting some time here, and he could be a guy later this season, next year, that could really be relied on for Paul Rodeo.
Cooper, swing pass. His new entry into the game is Morrow, and Morrow shots long. The rebound comes down, and it is taken by Eric Colon. So St. Joe going to fall to 3-3 after this one. And Middle Township's going to improve to 6-1 as we come up on 1 minute to play here in the basketball game. Sixers basketball coming up next. A steal by Middle, and there's a little bit of a scrap on the floor. Jump ball, and it looks like it's going to stay with the Wildcats. Middle Township now going to be 6-1, as we said, Mike. A very impressive record, and we'll take a look at their schedule coming up for this Panther team. And I think as they continue to play like this, people are going to want to start seeing more and more of them. And they have an interesting schedule of games coming up. And they've got some, nice wins already. They beat Bridgeton earlier, which is a team a lot of people have been talking about. They did handle Ocean City with ease. And coming up next for them, they got the rivalry game with Lower Cape May. But on the 14th, they're going to play at Holy Spirit and then the Prep. So they go back-to-back. And then you would think that those two games will really give us a good indication of who they are. They do play Delsey coming up as well, so and Wildwood in there as well. So they got a nice little, 4-game stretch coming up down the road here in just the next week.
Really looking forward to seeing how the Panthers fare against what we've called some of those top teams in the Cape Atlantic League so far.
What, are we wrong?
Yeah, well, you never know.
Come on, man, you know it all.
You never know. I mean, you know what teams should be coming in. Certainly Holy Spirit, AC, the Prep living up to those billings so far. But Middle Township saying, hey, you can't take us out of that top tier yet. We haven't played anybody yet. We have a 6-1 record after this win. So, yeah, really interested to see how the Panthers fare against some of those teams. And some of those teams, Mike, that have some size. So that'll be a true gauge, really, on what Middle can do this season.
Late bucket there for Middle Township, as that should probably do it, as St. Joe just fires one down the length of the court. You heard the horn sound, and the final score tonight, Middle Township with ease over St. Joe's. They win it 55-31 here on 97.3 ESPN. And Mike, obviously, we talked about a lot today, but very impressive Middle team tonight. And they've got the two Greer kids. They play very good defense. A lot of teams in the Cape Atlantic League are probably going to start taking a little bit more notice of this team. They're 6-1.
St. Joe's a solid team. We're not talking about one of the bottom teams in the Cape Atlantic League. So for Middle Township to come in here and win by 24 points, yes, it got